back again with Koi Pond update number 11. As you can see, we've now got pretty much all of the cladding on. So to show you, we finally got the Canadian cedar shiplap cladding all in place. There's a couple of other small bits to still do, but we're mostly there. It's looking pretty good. Top tip, if you're cladding around lagging, like there, put the lagging on first. It's surprisingly difficult to put that on when the cladding's there. Coping stone should be arriving, hopefully either today or tomorrow, and then I can start cracking on getting those in place. I've opted to use screws rather than nails, just because I feel that if I ever need to remove pieces and things like that, then it would be a lot easier. So it took me pretty much the majority of like half a day to a day to sort of get all of the battening put in place, and then the entirety of Saturday and then the majority of Sunday to get this all finished. Cutting these 4x4s into it, I had a bit of an issue, mainly because of the length, but also because the measurements were slightly different. And annoyingly, for this side here, I measured this out, cut that perfectly, but the sides down here didn't go quite to plan. So, as you can see, there was an extra bit sort of cut out there, and it doesn't quite go all the way to the end. This sort of side here is going to be boxed off at some point, which is why on the filter house as well I only went down to there. But it's looking phenomenal. I'm really chuffed with it. I've got a couple of other bits to still go. So on the actual filter house here, I've only gone to the end. Ignore my makeshift door there, and I'm still going to do that side there and that side there as well, and then get an actual door put in place. The lengths weren't perfect. There's a couple of small bits where you can see like it slightly overlaps there and here compared to there, but that's fine because I can either reciprocate straight down, but then I'm going to have a corner piece that goes on here between here and here as well and stuff. We didn't go quite all the way to the floor either. We'll sort some stuff out there. I made a couple of mistakes, which, you know, is to be expected. I'm still learning. Because I didn't have the coping stones here, I made a bit of a rookie mistake. I'll show you on the front, because I did the exact same thing on the front as I did on the side. Basically, coping stone is going to come here, and it's then going to, you know, sit sort of like this sort of height here. Well, stupidly, I jigsawed right to the end here, and I mean, so we're going to have like 10mm bed, and then we're going to have, you know, coping stone sort of 30mm, so it's all going to come up to this sort of height. But what I should have done is jigsawed in and around here so that this ran in line with this still. But because I didn't have the coping stone here, I didn't really consider it, which was a bit silly of me. And so annoyingly, I'm going to have to probably glue a little piece on here, because otherwise it's going to look a bit out of whack. But I'm waiting for the coping stones to come until I put extra corner pieces on here, sort of the exact same as like what I've done here, and what we can see that we've got on here as well. You look here, you can see that I've left a bit of a gap, because coping stone, again, let me grab a bit of batten and show you. Coping stone's going to sort of overlap by about 60mm on the edge, which is going to be roughly there. And so the reason I've left the gap is because this is going to have a drip groove in the coping here anyway, and it's quite nice to allow it to be able to be breathable. The wall's not going to get wet or anything like that, to be honest, but it just sort of allows it to breathe, basically. So if it does get any moisture and stuff, it'll be able to dry out nicely. Really made up with the colours, to be honest. You know, the pinks and the reds, they've definitely been getting redder as the wood's sort of been drying out. It wasn't soaking wet when it arrived, but it's very resinous, to the point that these darker pieces on the bottom over here, and you can see the lighter one there, but these darker pieces there, well, the majority of this stuff up here was a similar colour to that one on the bottom. And so as you can see, it's you know, definitely reddening up. A couple of other mistakes. I should have aligned my screws on this corner bracket here with this here. I might actually redo this corner piece, because I thought, because it overlaps slightly up at the top here, I then tried doing a sort of 45-degree cut and then silicone around it, sort of inside of it, to stop any sort of water sort of dripping behind from when it rains. But I mean, you can see it's ever so slightly off. Trying to do like a mitre saw on like an L-shaped thing probably really isn't the best. But yeah, I'm super chuffed with that. It looks fantastic. I've been playing around a bit with some stains. Well, I say stain, I've got this Tretech seed oil, which I've painted on an offcut that I've got. I've only done one coat on it at the moment, so I need to do a second one. I need to do it on a couple of other offcuts with different colours, because as you can see, we've got this sort of really light colour down the bottom, and you've got a slightly darker one here, and it's the same on the back wall over there as well, where you got the sort of darker, which then leads up to the lighter and stuff. And so I want to see how the seed oil changes things when it's on lighter and darker. But it seems really nice, and I'm pretty chuffed with it. The fish are doing alright. Don't seem too happy with the cold snap of weather that we've had at the moment, which I don't blame them. Just had a new angle grinder arrive. I had to get a 230mm because, excuse the pun, I didn't think the 150mm was going to quite cut it. So nice 230mm concrete blade, which seems to go through stuff like butter, but has some serious kickback. So grabbed myself some eye protection as well, because that slate is sharper than anything. I mean, you know, once you've cut it, you look at it, it's going to cut you. So super excited for that. I've opted to use tile adhesive for it rather than mortar. You know, just sort of reading online and stuff about, you know, mortar can sort of come off, and I don't really want to sort of risk having mortar going into the water and stuff, and tile adhesive seems a lot easier for me to use, and I don't have to faff around, you know, getting ratios right. I can basically just pour it in a bucket, add some water, give it a stir, and then throw it on. And it's supposed to be flexible, frost resistant and stuff like that. So I'll give that a go, see how it goes. What we're going to do with the copings is they're going to be butt jointed. As an example, you know, let's say it's going to sort of sit across there, and then there's going to be another one which then runs the full length down to the ends there. So I'm then going to have to cut out these enough for it to sit around here, and then what I'll do is I'll silicone around it, because the wood will shift, and I don't really want sort of water ingressing down into here and stuff, so I'll silicone it across so that it will then sort of, you know, come off the drip edge and stuff like that, rather than running behind or into the battens and stuff like that. And then we'll add you know, sort of spaces between, and then grout in between, which should be very nice. If you haven't seen my last video, you're just seeing this one, and this is the style of slate that I've gone for. I think it's called Cleft to Black, which is really nice, to be honest. I think it'll work very nicely. Once that's on, then I can actually compare this Tretech cedar oil and see whether the sort of darker colour that it will bring out in this wood will be better or not. It sort of protects it from UV and stuff. My other half sort of prefers this colour, and I quite liked the look of the silvering which you get from weathering it, but now that I've actually seen this wood in person, I don't really want the colour to change much, so probably going to end up treating it. And then I've got some stains coming as well, because standing back from afar, the pagoda looks very out of place, and so does the sort of fence over there, and so does sort of this top ridge on the sort of flat roof for the filter house. So I'm going to see if I can get some stains, play around with it on some other green wood that I've got to see the colourings and see if we can get a nice match, which I'll probably only do the posts here and here. I'll probably do the front of this along here. I'll potentially do the sort of rafters up there, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll definitely do the sort of front and the inside of this up here. I'm not going to bother doing sort of the noggins and the inside of here because I don't really fancy balancing on a ladder and then working with stain directly above the pond. But the main sort of thing that I want to do is this sort of top bit on the flat roof there and get it to a sort of uniform colour which matches quite nicely with the cedar. So actually was a shorter one than normal, and this time I didn't even say that this is going to be a shorter video. So once coping stones come, I'll video that, and once they're put on, and then I'll update you all then, which should hopefully be by this weekend. So a very short video for me this time, and I hope you like it. If you like the video or you want to see sort of more work that I'm coming along, then please do feel free to subscribe. It's nice to know that people are enjoying the sort of content that I'm putting out. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to help. And that's Ollie over and out. Thanks.